The rain came down in heavy sheets against the colony dome, rattling like millions of impatient fingers on glass. The artificial weather system had gone haywire again, but nobody cared enough to fix it. Out here, on the ragged edge of human expansion into the Perseus arm, we lived with broken things. My name was Kael. It was Kael. At least that's all I thought it was. A short, hard name with no history or meaning attached. It had always felt incomplete, as though I was carrying a fragment of something larger that had been lost. I worked salvage routes across abandoned stations and husks of ships swallowed by deep space. That was how I ended up stranded on Veres 9, a barren exoplanet that had once been a thriving research hub before the funding dried up and its scientists scattered. My transport broke down during a survey, and communications were a joke, just static on every channel. For 3 days I wandered the skeletal ruins of the outpost, rationing my supplies until I found her. She wasn't human. She looked almost like one at first glance. Tall, cloaked in pale armor that shimmered faintly, her hair silver white and tied with cords of woven metal. But her eyes gave her away. They weren't eyes at all, but pools of faintly glowing liquid, like tears suspended in time. When she spoke, her voice was layered, as if two people were speaking through her at once. "Who are you?" I hesitated, gripping the handle of my plasma cutter as if it could do any good. "I'm Kael." "Kael." She froze. The glow in her eyes flickered, and she staggered a step closer. Then, in a voice breaking apart, she whispered, "Kael. That name, my mother. She used to cry it when I was a child." Middle. The mystery of the shared name. I didn't believe her at first. Couldn't. She was alien, no mistaking it. Her skin had faint iridescence under the dim light. Her movements were precise but slightly wrong, as if she was always half aware of gravity pulling differently on her body. But the way she said my name, it wasn't just recognition. It was grief. She told me her name was Ariesia, last of the Cerati, a people erased in a war humanity never knew about. She had been wandering these ruins for centuries, waiting, guarding, searching for something. And she believed that something was me. I laughed in her face at first. A defense mechanism, maybe. "Lady, I think you've got the wrong Kael. I'm just a guy who fixes scrap and breaks down rusted machinery. I don't know anything about you or your Cerati." But she shook her head. "No. The cadence of your name, the way it falls from your mouth. It is identical. My mother's voice would shatter when she spoke it. She said it belonged to the one who would return us from ruin. The one bound by blood." Her certainty unnerved me. And something else, something I couldn't admit, unsettled me more. Hearing that someone else had spoken my name before I was even born. 4 days, we lingered in the abandoned colony. I followed her because I had no choice. She knew the working tunnels beneath the surface, where power still flowed. She claimed she could fix the broken communication relay, but only if I helped. We scavenged in silence at first. But silence never lasted long around Ariesia. She began telling stories of her people, how they once spanned star systems, creating great living cities grown from crystal and bone, how they fell when an enemy called the Aerothek unleashed a weapon that infected their very memories, rewriting who they were until they destroyed themselves. When she spoke of her mother, her voice always faltered. She told me of a name that carried across bloodlines, one that would not die even when bodies did. The name Kael. She swore it would find its way back, no matter the years, no matter the stars. I wanted to tell her she was insane, that names repeat across cultures, species, and time. But a part of me, the part that had always felt like my name was incomplete, kept me quiet. The awakening. On the 6th day we reached the central archive. It was a vast chamber of glassy spires, humming faintly with residual power. Ariesia guided me to a pedestal covered in alien script, glowing faintly when I approached. "Place your hand here," she said. I hesitated. "What if it fries me?" She smiled, sad but strangely tender. "If you are not Kael, nothing will happen. If you are, then everything will." I pressed my palm against the surface. The chamber came alive. Light cascaded through the spires, beams of data unspooling like threads of memory. Images flooded my mind. Cities of light, vast ships shaped like wings, laughter in alien voices. And then, sharper, personal, an image of a Sarati woman with eyes like Ariesia's, cradling a child and whispering my name. Oh, not me. Not human. But another Kael. A child who had lived and died long before Earth ever rose from the oceans. I staggered back, gasping. What the hell was that? Ariesia touched my shoulder, her voice trembling. The cycle. The blood. You carry echoes of him. You are Kael reborn. I wanted to deny it, scream at her, call it manipulation. But the memories lingered, not just visions but feelings, like a song half remembered from childhood. And worse, I felt a connection to her. The rising threat. As we pieced together the archive, we uncovered more than history. We learned the Aerothek were not gone. They were patient parasites of memory, spreading through forgotten ruins and drifting colonies. They had been using the abandoned outposts as seeds, waiting for explorers like me to stumble into their reach. One night, while we slept in the shelter of the ruins, I woke to the sound of whispers. Not from Ariesia, from the shadows. Words slithered into my head, voices not my own. You are not Kael. You are nothing. Give us your name. Forget it. Forget. I clutched my head, screaming. Ariesia tore awake, eyes blazing, and struck the shadows with a lance of light from her armor. They shrieked and dissolved into smoke. She held me until the voices faded. This is why my people fell, she whispered. The Aerotheks steal memory, until even your own name becomes ash. But you, Kael, you resisted. That means you are truly of the line. For the first time I believed her. Journey into the core. We had no choice but to confront the source. Deep beneath Varys IX's crust, the Aerothek hive had nested, feeding off the broken systems. The closer we got, the heavier my thoughts became, as if someone was constantly trying to erase them. I kept repeating my name under my breath. I'm Kael. Oh, Kael. Each repetition anchored me. Ariesia noticed. She whispered with me, tears in her strange glowing eyes. That is what my mother did when the voices came. She would hold me, repeat your name like a shield. Oh, until they could not take it from me. We fought our way into the hive. Light against shadow, memory against oblivion. My plasma cutter was useless, but Ariesia's armor flared with ancient power, burning the Aerothek to nothing. In the heart of the hive we found it, a pulsing core of black light, radiating whispers into every corner of the ruin. The voices surged into me, demanding, erasing. Give up your name. Forget Kael. Forget. But I didn't. I shouted it. Again. Until my throat was raw. Until the word echoed not just from me but from the archive spires themselves. Oh. Ariesia joined me, her voice breaking, her tears streaming. Together, we spoke the name until the core split and the hive collapsed in on itself, consumed by its own unraveling.